Hey Flosstube, it's Katie the Stash Queen coming to you on this Tuesday, January the 30th. I know I'm a day late. I had a really busy day yesterday, far busier than I anticipated it being, and I got everything set up, took all the time it took to get a video ready to go, and when I was done with that, it was really late, the lighting was bad, and I was tired, so I said, forget it, I'll just do it today. And I still didn't get it done as early as I wanted to because I went out with my mother to go see the movie The Shape of Water. It's really weird. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll say one other thing. Not the kind of movie that I would have expected to be watching with my mother. Just leave it at that. So, we've got a lot in store today. The kids are home, so there may be another visit from the Stash Prince. Which, thank you everyone for the kind comments that you left for him in the last video. I have found out, and I posted this in Stitch Mania, but I have found out that he has every so often gone onto YouTube and typed in Flosstube and found random people's videos of random Flosstubers and left hopefully encouraging comments. So if you see comments from David, that's the Stash Prince, and they're legit. They're not stalker crazy people. So anyway, before we get on to the Q&A, I realized, as I put my crown on my head today, because my hair is crazy and why not add a crown to it, I never showed off my little Stitchy buddy that I got at the Flosstube retreat in October. This is Leela. Isn't she pretty? Say hi, Leela. Hi. She was made by Brittany at Ingleside Imaginarium. She made a bunch of these little guys at the Flosstube retreat, and they were all just snatched up real quick, and I saw this one, I'm like, that one's mine. Gotta have that one. So yeah, that's little Leela. She watches over all of my stash in here because where I stitch downstairs, it's a little too dangerous for her. So, if you want one of your Stitchy buddies of your own, go to Ingleside Imaginarium on Etsy. I will put a link to, well, yeah, I'll put a different link to the shop below and see if you can go and get yourself one of your Stitchy buddies. See? Over my shoulder. All right. So, we're going to do the whole shebang today. Q&A, stash positions, everything that I worked on, and let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, Q&A. Got lots of questions because I'm catching up on a few weeks. First off, Shar Farani said, do you stitch in hand, hoops, or Q-snaps? I use hoops. I'm not a huge fan of Q-snaps, and I will only stitch in hand when it's like a perforated paper project or it's simply too small to be in a hoop. But I have a 10-inch hoop, a 7-inch hoop, and a 5-inch hoop, and I have very few pieces that do not fit into one of those three. And even with my huge gargantuan pieces, I use my 10-inch hoop. Jessie Marie Does Stuff said, I had a thought about your rotation. I know you want to touch every whip this year, and that's amazing. I'll definitely cheer you on with that goal. I wonder about your free whip days where you don't have a project whose birthday lands on that day. Have you considered letting yourself have that day off from the project rotation, let yourself work on whatever else you have going, or play catch up when you can't quite get to everything in a week? Just an idea. Actually, yes. I have had that idea. January is not a month that I had a lot of free whip days simply because of all the different challenges I have done over the years in January. So I have lots of starts in January. But in future whip months, or future months with free whip days, yes, I have thought about that. I anticipate what I would do is I would still do the random number generator and get a whip for that day. But if I end up choosing not to work on that whip and to do some other stuff instead, I would just go ahead and do that. Millie Allian said, I know you enjoy the process of stitching, but have you ever considered devoting, for example, a week to those projects that are close to finishing? You have quite a few, and I still look forward to seeing them finished. I'm particularly curious to see the end of the Oz project that's made up in pieces. How will those all go together? All right, two separate questions there. First, I'll take the last one first. The Oz piece, there are a whole bunch of instructions that come with the pattern on how to put it together. I am intimidated by them at this point. I have not really looked at them much in detail. I know there are a few people out there who have finished the piece. I can't think of who they are off the top of my head, and I'm not sure if they have any Flosstube videos for it. But Brooke from Brooke's Books does have a very good set of instructions on how to put it together. Haven't gotten to that point yet. When I do, I will be happy to explain it. But that's going to be a little bit of a while. As far as have I ever thought of doing a week to those for the projects that I'm close to finishing, every so often I'll get into a little oh my gosh, I want to finish this now and I don't want to stop working on it phase. And when I do, I give myself permission to do so and I do it. But like you said, I do enjoy the process. And although I love all of my viewers and all of my Stitch Mania friends, I stitch for me. So while I appreciate that there are lots of projects that you all may want to see finished or see come up more often, I do what I feel in the mood for. But yes, every so often it does come up that I want to just do something. And that actually happened this week with one of the stitch alongs. But you know, it's not something that I feel calling to me very often. But when I do, I indulge. Charlotte Lacey, is the Glen in Place pattern difficult? I think it's beautiful, but I'm intimidated by specialty stitches. I'm not sure which Glen in Place you're referring to, because I've stitched a few this month. And the ones that I have been working on haven't really, and there's been some beading, but not a lot of specialty stitches that I can think of on the mandalas or anything else like that. Chatelaines have a bunch of specialty stitches, but there are a lot of good tutorial that for the pieces that I have that have a lot of specialty stitches, they're usually very good about including instructions on how to do it and diagrams for you to see. But I know there are lots of people out on Flosstube, and I would do it myself if I could figure out a way to set it up so you could watch me stitch. But there are a lot of people on Flosstube who have done those sorts of tutorials before. So if there are certain stitches that you are looking to try in a piece, you can do some searching on Flosstube and I'm sure you can find something. Like I said, I would be happy to show some off, but I don't really have, this is on my phone leaning against my computer keyboard and screen, so I don't really have a good way in here to show how I stitch those things. But look on Flosstube, they're definitely out there. And the pieces are beautiful, Glen in Place or chatelaine or anything else. And once you conquer the stitches, you'll be wondering why you were ever scared of them in the first place. Let's see here. Maria Leclerc said, how do you choose the fabric for your pieces? This is an area that always slows down my process. Any hints? I just kind of, I don't really have a method to doing it. If it's a full coverage piece, like a Haid or a Tilton Crafts, those are generally just on white. But for anything that I have a large stash from various purchases I made over the years, Fabric of the Month clubs that I've been members of for several years, some that I used to be a member of but no longer am. I have a large, like, storage container, Sterilite container full of fabrics. And I will take a piece and I will look at it and I will start pulling out fabric to see what calls to me. I don't buy fabric with a piece in mind 99% of the time. I rather have all of the fabric and use that as inspiration strikes. And I have found that actually works far better for me, because if I was buying fabric specifically for a piece, one, I run the risk of the piece not looking the way I thought it might. Two, I have to delay working on the piece. And three, when I have the piece here in front of me, I can go to all sorts of color schemes that people may not generally think of, because you don't have the piece of fabric in front of you, so it's scary to take that leap and do a bold or dramatic fabric. And you all have seen I have lots of bold and dramatic fabrics. So, if you can start building up a stash, join a Fabric of the Month club. I am a member of Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie and Under the Sea Fabrics for years. I was a member of Jottery Designs last year, loved it, only stopped it for other reasons, nothing to do with her. I had Silk Weavers before. I did Picture This Plus when they had Fabric of the Month. There are tons of dyers out there. If you want, I would say look at your budget. If you can get into a Fabric of the Month club, do, and start collecting. And then you'll start building a stash, and you can take those pieces and sit down with your tons of fabric and see what just calls to you. That's really how I pick it. Lisa Richter said, when you change projects so often, how do you keep track of where you are in each? Do you have any trouble switching up fabrics, counts, plus working on canvas or paper? To answer the second question, no, I don't have any trouble switching it up. There are several questions about how I keep track of things, and I'll read them just to make sure I don't skip over them. But I use the X-Stitch app. It is available both in the Apple Store, the App Store, and I believe it's available for Android as well. It is a lifesaver. I primarily use the journal function. I don't use the threads or the fabric section at all. I know they are looking at doing an update first quarter of this year so that you could start doing beads and other sorts of tracking, and that might be useful, that I'll take a look at. But I don't use that for fabric or floss. I do use the shopping list that's in it, but the journal is really what I use. And in the journal, my wish list is patterns that I own that I haven't started. Then kitted up are ones that are kits, like that come as a kits, like Mill Hills, or ones that I am kitting up for the next week for the year of starts. And then started is obviously started, and finished is finished. I put in the name of the project, the designer, the date I start it, the fabric that I'm working on. There's a section for the fabric notes, at least in the Apple version. I'm not as familiar with the Android version, so if it's slightly different format, I apologize. I put in the fabric, and all of my fabrics I have kept on the label of what they are. So when I pull a fabric, I can see, oh, it's a 32 Belfast and Dreamsicle from Under the Sea Fabrics, because I mentioned that a lot today. So I will put that in there, 32 Belfast, name of, 32 Belfast, Dreamsicle, UTSF for Under the Sea Fabrics, or Steph for Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, or PTP for Picture This Plus. And then in the notes section on the bottom, I'll indicate what stitch-alongs I have used that piece for. I will indicate where the needle minder is from. I have a bunch of needle minders, as you can see. I only buy from a few certain stores, so I generally have a good idea of where I got them from. If I don't know, I just say I don't know. That's rare, but that helps me as the minders get assigned to pieces. I don't have to keep remembering where it's from. It's just all in there. And when I get ready for a video each week, I will look at what pieces I've worked on, look what pieces I have coming up, and I'll just use that app to make all of my notes to tell you guys. It's not necessarily my memory. It's just keeping up with the organization. Let's see. Next one is Jamie Lynn Moore. Love your whips. How to keep track of it all. Like I said, exit chat. Glenn Hempel said, do you know where every single one of your needle minders is from? How do you keep track of that? Again, like I just said, I generally have only bought from 5 or 6 needle minder groups, needle minder designers over the years, and they each had kind of a different style that I purchased from them. Like over my shoulder here, those big ones are all from No Name Needle Minders, because that's one of Kate's exclusive shapes and stuff. And a lot of these square ones I know I bought from her. Bottle caps I bought from Minding My Minders when it was open. Some of these buttons up here, combination of the Everyday Stitcher and Nifty Needle Nannies and Delicious Threads. And the clay ones I generally have are from Down Sunshine Lane, and a few others that are the cool little jewels and stuff. A lot of them are from Brenda's Minders and More. So I don't have, like, there are dozens of needle minder designers out there. I haven't shopped at them all. I'm not planning on shopping at them all. But the ones that I know that I've used consistently, I generally have a good idea of where they came from. Let's see here. Wayward Stitcher said, hi, Katie. You seem to have all sorts of Joan Elliott's going on, and I wondered how you managed to read those charts. I'm confused about the half stitches. I know they aren't the classic half stitch where it's just one half of a full cross stitch. Do you know what this might mean and how to stitch it? Okay. I saw the diagram that you try to put. So what it looks like to me that you were trying to explain is that it has the one square and it has a tiny symbol in one corner and a tiny symbol in another corner. This is how I do it. Whether or not it's proper or correct, this is how I do it. Anytime, and not just on Joan Elliott's, but in general, whenever I see the mark for the quarter stitches, the half stitches, yes, sir, we have a visitor, everybody. Can you get over without knocking all that stuff over and stepping on all my stuff? Oh, lovely. Come on. You're in my way. You're sitting on stuff, David.
Oh.
Watch out.
I'm okay.
Okay, let's not stick out your tongue, please. How are you? Has your game downloaded?
Yeah.
You gonna go play it? You just wanted to come and say hi to all your fans?
It's installing.
Oh, it's installing. You just wanted to come say hi to all your fans? You got anything interesting going on?
I got 3 points today.
You got 4 points today.
4.
4 Class Dojo points. Yay, David. Anything else interesting going on? You got your class show that you're working on.
But my mom cannot see my folder.
No, because in his folder that he takes home every day, he has the words that he is supposed to say as a speaker, and I'm not allowed to know them yet, right?
Until the show.
Until the show.
Because they'll see me at the front.
Yeah, he'll come up front and he'll get to talk, right? Anything else that you want to say? Okay, dude.
I'm Lily.
You're not Lily. Lily is the dog. She's downstairs. Stop being a goofball. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Stop, David. I'm answering some questions. Because I do all of my Joan Elliott's on either an even weave or a linen, instead of doing the traditional half stitches and quarter stitches, because I don't like the way they look anyway, generally, I do tiny... Okay, bye. Okay, close the door. Ooh, you okay? You okay? Can you close the door, buddy? No. Are you okay? All right, are you going to be okay? He hit his knee on the way out the door. All right, I'm not going to have to close the door because it will not be very pretty. I do over 1 stitches in those tiny sections. I still use the 2 threads, but I will do them as an over 1 full X in those corners. And I have found that that works best for me, because a lot of times at those stitches, there's a back stitch line between them, and that back stitch line lays perfectly if you do the tiny little over 1s in the corners. I think it looks better just smooth wise. So that's what I do, is I just, with those types of stitches, on Joan Elliott's or otherwise, I'll just do it over 1 instead of... Okay, can you close the door, please? Hopefully that means he won't be back. While I know he has many fans, he also distracts me. And we're 20 minutes in and I haven't even got anything. Jessie Marie, this is why my video last week was shorter, because even though I showed more stuff, I didn't talk. It's the talking that gets to you. All right. So I hope that helps. If that is not helpful, or if that wasn't what you're thinking of, let me know. But that's how I do it and how I think what you were asking. Let's see here. Christine Lorino said, did I hear right that you were doing death in all beads? Yes, you did. Christina Haynes said, where did your Dr. Pepper heart needle minder come from? This is in the top right behind me. It's not top right behind me anymore because I have reorganized my minder since then. I mean, this one. It is not actually a needle minder. It is technically a refrigerator magnet. See, it doesn't use the earth magnets. Etsy, I looked up Dr. Pepper magnet and found a shop that did a whole bunch of, took a bunch of cans of a bunch of different drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and they had Dr. Pepper ones, and they came with a set of 2, and I gave one to Garrett for him when we were having who's the more Texan feud way back when I first started Flosstube, and the answer is still me. Let's see here. Millie Allian asked on another video, I wonder if we could take a few minutes to explain the heart drops. I'm sorry, but I don't understand how it works. What's the expectation of the hearts? My understanding is that they're hidden around the city with hopes that people find them. Did I get this wrong? How do you know that they were found? I just don't understand the concept. Okay. The concept is, okay, the heart drops are meant to spread a little love and bring someone a smile to their day, anonymously. In this world, whether you're talking on the grand scale of the state of affairs in the world these days, or even close to home in a personal level, we can all use a little extra smiles and a little extra love. So the concept is that people stitch up these little hearts, whatever size, whatever color that they want to do them. And yes, they leave them in random places. They can be left, in the pages of a book that you return to the library. It can be left on top of a stack of canned goods in the grocery store. It could be left, anywhere that you can think of. And the way you know they're found, some people don't like or don't want to know that they're found. That's not what's important to them. But for those of us who would like to help keep track of it, I've created a Facebook group, and we have, so that the people who make the hearts can either write out an address to the Facebook group, or Liz from Stitchy Box was nice enough to get a QR code that we can print out on stickers and stick on the back. And if someone scans that QR code, it'll bring them to the Facebook page, and they can let us know what they found and where they found it. Haven't gotten one of those yet, but we're still young. I'm going to include information about, letting us know where you found it. But if we don't have people who tell us, that doesn't preclude me or any of the others from still stitching those hearts and leaving them in places just to spread a little love in the world. Another good place would be to leave it at your LNS, something like that. It's a play off of the Painted Rocks initiative that a lot of states have, a lot of communities have, where people take rocks and just paint designs on them and then leave them in random places. I know other people have done this sort of thing in other scales, like Emma Watson, I read about once, did books that she would leave books in places for people to find. It's just a little way to connect with your fellow man anonymously and remind people that there's something bright and happy and loving in the world on a day that hopefully they need it. Hopefully that explains it. Christmas Stitcher said, do you sell needle minders? If so, what's the website called? Nope, I just buy them. I've got a lot, but no, I don't sell them. Let's see here. Bonnie Hinshaw asks, where in the world do you find the time to stitch all of your projects with 2 children? Well, my 2 children are 11 and 7. They are in school most of the day. I am a stay-at-home parent, so I have time while they are gone at school in between other things that I am working on that I can stitch at home. In the evenings, after we have done homework and food and baths and family time and all that, we all, kind of gather in the living room, or except my daughter, she's in that tween phase that she likes to go and be secluded in her room. But, we'll watch a show and I can stitch while I'm watching TV. And I am also a person that firmly believes that you don't have to have a long, dedicated amount of time to stitch. You can take 15 minutes and get progress. Because every stitch you put in is one more stitch you don't have to put in later. And like this year, what I'm doing with all my whips is they're getting 18 minutes because it's 2018. So why not just do 18 minutes on a whip? It goes by quickly. That doesn't include time for setting up, but I know there are people out there who feel like that's not enough time to really get anything done. I take pictures. I can see the progress. I am happy with that. My new starts, I'll get half an hour. My Sal's will get half an hour here and there. Or like the Stitch Alongs and Stitch Mania and stuff. Because those are all new starts too. But, you don't have to have 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours to sit down and dedicate to stitching. If you are finding that, you only have 15 or 20 minutes at a time that you could sit down and actually stitch, take that 15 and 20 minutes. Don't spend that time lamenting that you can't be stitching. Get some stitches in. Even if it's like 10 or 15, that's still something. So, let's see here. Carmen Escamilla said, wow, over 400 whips, approaching 500. How do you figure out which ones to do on certain days? Again, that's all calculated in the Xstitch app. I also have a calendar in Google that I have everything. I spent a day and went through all of my whips on my journal and put it on a calendar in Google so I can use the calendar also. Vita Lindner said, where do you get your silver round magnets at and your larger rings too? I'm assuming you're meaning all of these magnets that are up here. I didn't actually purchase them. They're the rare earth magnets that came with the needle minders. There's one attached to the needle minder and then one that you use to help keep it on your fabric. That's what all of these are, because I got tired of taking the needle minder off and the secondary magnet still being attached to the board. So I just collect them all at the top of each, you got some over here too, at the top of each one, and I just pull one off whenever I'm putting on a new needle minder. So they're round earth magnets. I'm not sure where the needle minder people got them. My larger rings for holding threads and stuff, I got these off of Amazon. So, and then Char from Roni said, does your fibromyalgia ever interfere with your stitching? Yep. Sometimes my joints hurt too much to sit where I sit for all of my stitching. Sometimes my hands and wrists and elbows cramp up. Sometimes I'm just too overall miserable to put in the effort. That was a lot of why last year was such a screwed up stitch year for me, because I wasn't really realizing what I was dealing with, and I wasn't coping really well. So yeah, it can definitely impact my stitching. I try to still get stitching stitching in every day, because it's my stress release, and I feel better even if I got 5 or 10 stitches in. It's something. Or doing something stitchy related. Like yesterday I didn't stitch at all because I was so tired, but I worked on doing some organization and cataloging, which stitch related to me. All right, 25 minutes in. That's all the questions. If I missed your question, or you have any other questions, please feel free to put it in the comments below, and I'll get to it next week. All right, last week. Had some successes, had some holdovers. We'll see what you got. All right, I only worked on 3 of the annual stitch-alongs last week, but I did finish a portion of one and the month for another. So the first one that I worked on is the 2018 Cross Stitcher Magazine Sal, and this is being done on 32 Belfast and Avalon from Under the Sea Fabrics. I finished the January block. Isn't that cute? So I claimed it for Stitch from Stash. Got my little crown needle minder from No Name Needle Minders. Now, the pattern in Cross Stitcher Magazine, which I have on Zinio through March now, so I have February and March's portions already, has it going as one long piece. I didn't want to do it that way. So February will be next to January here. But yeah, got that one. This was one of those days where I started working on it and I wanted to keep working on it, so I did. Those days do happen. Next, I worked on Fabulous Women in History by Cloud's Factory, and I am doing this on 32 Belfast and Lycan's Moon from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using flosses and silks from Mo's Sale, and I'm almost done with the words up here. I just have to do that A, and then I can do, because this is April's that I'm on, because I did January, February, March, so it'll be April's ladies, Jane Austen and Elizabeth I, that I can work on after I finish the A. See? And my minder says, well-behaved women rarely make history from No Name Needle Minders. And then the other sal that I worked on this week is the Another Year Creeps By Stitchy Box and Ink Circles. And while I didn't finish all of January, I did get the frame done for January. So now I can fill it in here in the middle. And this is done on 32 Belfast and Dreamsicle from Under the Sea Fabrics. And my minder is from Stitchy Box's Halloween box. So yeah. So now I just have to fill that in. But I got that border done for January. Yay! So those are the only sales that I worked on this week. Partially because I spent a day or two working on that one little bit for the cross stitcher sale. Alrighty. My year of starts, I got them all in this week. Let me get this over here. All right, first up was Boatswain Santa by Sandra Cozzolino from Mill Hill. Left a needle on it. And here's where I got to at this point. So working on his vest up top. And my minder is a Captain Hook needle minder from No Name Needle Minders. Next, and this is for New Year, New Start. Next, for Glendon Place, for the Tour Day Designers, I worked on All Hallows Eve. And this one was really fun. I am doing this one on 32 Lugana in Gothic from Picture This Plus. And I started in the middle, so I got words. Where are they? There they are. See? It says, that's the back. Oops. Wait, I had it upside down. There we go. 7 ghosts. Yay! The fabric, the more true color of the fabric is back here than when I did it up close. You can see it on there. It's just kind of dark from the distance. And then my minder is a little one from No Name Needle Minders. Then the next one was my freebie day, where I get to pick whatever I feel like working on without being constrained by any stitch-alongs. And I decided to work on Chalkboard Christmas by Mill Hill. And this was just kind of boring because it's just working on getting that chalkboard color in. See the thread that I got hanging behind it. So I got a lot of that chalkboard to do before I do all the fun stuff on it. Then the next one was my Princess Stitch Along. And for this month, it is Your Favorite Princess, which we have well established now. Let me get it back over here. We've well established now for me is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. So this it's an electronic pattern. It's Belle by Brooks Books. I'll put a link to it below. And here is where I got on it. I am doing this on 32 Lugana in Stellar from Picture This Plus. It's more blue than the purple it's showing. Let's start working some on her dress. My minder is a little Bella's Ravenclaw needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. This is more accurate to color back here. I love that whole series that Brooke did. She did a really excellent job on all of them. Then the next one is my Halloween All Year Round, which for January was pumpkins. And I worked on the Pumpkin Sampler by Jeanette Douglas Designs, which is from Just Cross Stitch September, October 2012. I had to substitute out all the colors because I didn't have all of the colors. They're specialty flosses. And since I'm doing Stitch from Stash, I just use my stash. So here's where we are at this point. I am doing this one on 32 Lugana in Oaken from Picture This Plus. That's a little pumpkin at the top, which we have in there a couple of Dragonfly Lotus threads and Weeks Dye Works so far. And the other Halloween needle minder that I have from Stitchy Box. Keep a watch over there, Leela. Then the next one was my 50 Nifty United States pattern, and it's your home state for January. So from the Texas 150 Sesquicentennial Designs, I started working on Alamo. I'm just doing the Alamo and the top part. I'm not doing the dates on the bottom. And oops, don't fall. Sorry, got a pile going over here. I am doing this one on 32 Lugana in Fresco from Picture This Plus, and I really enjoyed working on this one because I was able to do some black work back stitching to start working on the Alamo. And there's my little Texas Heart needle minder from No Name Needle Minders. And then my last start for this past week was my Christmas All Year Round, which is Santa for January. So I pulled out the Beartooth Santa from Sandra Cozzolino from Mill Hill. And here is where I got to. Write some on his coat. And my minder's a little blingy needle minder from Brenda's Minders and More. So those were my new starts for this week. The One Stitch a Day project has been shelved for various reasons, mainly because it was making me angry. So that one got put away for now. Sorry. Maybe I'll try that again next year. My temperature cell I left downstairs. I'm not going to go run and get it right now. And I didn't get any heart drops done this week. However, I did work on 13 whips. Still wasn't all of them. 13. All right. Oops. Maybe that's why. When you put things in the wrong bag, Katie, it gets confusing. It's like, why does this not say what it is? I'm losing my mind, people. I lost it during that movie today. I'm a pretty liberal-minded person. Weird movie. All right. Whips for the week. First off, we got a bunch of Mill Hill kits, so I'll show those first. Was Jewel Pear by Mill Hill. And here's where I got to at this point. Start adding some of that green color. I was not as far along on this as I thought I was when I started working on it. That's why I didn't just finish it. I still got a little ways to go on that. Then next, also from Mill Hill, is Kringle Wreath. And I worked on the red underneath his beard. Then let's get these little guys in here. Sorry it takes so long sometimes for me to put things back away, but if I don't do it as I am talking with you guys, for those of you who are newer to my channel, it won't get done. And it takes about 2 hours to prep everything, and if I don't do it as I'm talking, it'll take about that long to clean it up. So, okay, then the next one is also from Mill Hill. It's Sail Away. Here's where I got to on that one. I made good progress on that. I got this part done, the yellow or the white sail, and then this yellow started working on. There's not much more stitching on this one before I get to beads, which anyone who knows me knows that's my favorite part. Let's see. This is going to be a long video. I'm looking at what I've got for stash positions over here. And then the last little Mill Hill kit that I worked on was Santa's stockings. And here is where I got to at this point. Working on one of those stockings. I like working on these little Mill Hill kits. That's one reason why I'm getting all of my Mill Hills started this year, because they're fun. And really, these are ones that if I wanted to sit down one day and just push through and get them done, I could. Urge hasn't struck me yet. All right, next, from Dimensions Gold Petites, I worked on Dreaming of Tuscany. And here is where I am on it at this point. I added more, I filled in this little area over here and worked on more of the various shades of green up in the mountainside. And my minder is a Florence needle minder from No Name Needle Minders. For a small piece, this is deceptively lots of stuff in it. Then the next one is Stitch in Time, and this is from Cross Stitch Crazy, January 2013. And I am doing this one on 32 Joblin in Raspberry Lemonade from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, and I'm using flosses from Moe's Sale. Here, let's see, can I get this to show for you guys a little bit better? Here's where I got to. I finished the pink part around the quilts and started adding in this blue down here. And my minder's a little pink bobbin needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Then, let's see, the next one came from the Joan Elliott Christmas Cross Stitch Treasures book. And it is the Snowman Roly Poly. It's this one right here. And I am doing this guy on 14 count perforated plastic. Hold on, let me fix one thing. My minder was on the wrong side. Here is where I am at this point. I got this outline of the sign done and started filling it in. 18 minutes, you can get some stuff done and see progress. And my minder is a wooden penguin needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Next, I worked on Santa's Village by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I'm doing it all as one piece, but I worked on Santa's house. Really, I just worked on the border up at the top, because man, that border is going to be tedious. This is being done on 32 Lugana in Legacy from Picture This Plus, and here, I'd already had the white done, so I just started filling in with the red. So, got about halfway. Not bad. And my minder is a little reindeer needle minder from Brenda's Minders and More. Okay. Alright. Alrighty. Oops. Next, let's see what's next here. That's 8. A few more to go. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit you guys. The next one is the January Calendar Girl from Little House Needleworks. And I should go back in here. I am doing this one on 28 Cashel and Clay from Zweigert. And here's where I am. More on the brown on her dress. And my minder is a little Queen Needle Minder from Nessa's Needle Minders. Then the next one came from the Just Cross Stitch 2012 ornament issue. And it is the Stitching Through the Holidays Pin Keep, which is this one right down here. And I am stitching this on 28 Lugana in Valor from Picture This Plus. Here, got more of her dress. Can you see? The purple is variegated. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it is. I can see it clearly when I look at it. My minder is a little crown needle minder from Brenda's Minders and More. Then the next one comes from the 2011 Just Cross Stitch ornament issue. Oh, good. And it is this one right here. It's called Twinkle. And I am doing that one on 32 Jobelin in Twilight from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm using Krennic number 4 in 014 for the sparkly blue. Minder's a little star needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Next, we have Vintage Stitches by Jeanette Douglas Designs. And I am doing that one on 32 Lugana in Changeling from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Let's get to it. Still working on the 1/1 section in the middle. But I finished the light color brown vines and started working the dark color brown vines. And my minder is Wine, How Classy People Get Drunk from Minding My Minders. And then one more. Get this one put up first. I worked on St. Nicholas, which is this one right here, from Sandra Cozzolino for Wilmer Crafts. And here is where I got to. I finished up this taupey color on the bag and started filling in the red. And my minder is Dear Santa Define Good from No Name Needle Minders. So those were all of my whips last week. 13, I think, is pretty good. 100 finishes in 2018. I've decided I am counting the individual ones that I work on. So, actually this needs to go over here. So, meaning like for the sals. So, as of the end of January, I'm up to 5. 4 heart drops and 1 sal part. It's progress. Do I think I'm going to make 100? No idea. We'll see. All right, weekly plans. I'm going to try to hit all of the annual sals, which besides the 3 that I showed you include The Guardians of Notre Dame by Ingleside Imaginarium, The Legendary Creatures Alphabet by Clouds Factory, and The Birthstone Dragons, also by Ingleside Imaginarium. Those are downstairs. You guys have seen them. No progress since last week. Year of starts. We end one month and go into another. So yesterday, which I didn't work on, but I'm going to do it today, for the New Year, New Start, I guess I don't need to really open this. It is Charming Santa by Mill Hill. So I'll start on that one. Then today, for the Tour Day Designers, the last one for Glendon Place. I'm going to work on Nativity. And I am doing this one on the 28 Cashel and Evergreen from Under the Sea Fabrics that I got at the retreat, which is just this, this color does not do it justice on the camera. It is this gorgeous, rich green that when I saw it at the retreat, I'm like, I have to have it, and I don't care how big of a piece it is, I'm having it. And my minder is this little angel needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Then tomorrow, which this actually, before I show you tomorrow, this actually shows a way that I am flexible with my rotation. I didn't stitch yesterday. I can still stitch on those things that I planned on for yesterday today. It's not a big deal. Not a worry. All right, so tomorrow's new start is going to be the personal choice Cozy Christmas Santa by Jim Shore from Mill Hill. And my minder's little star needle minder from Brenda's Minders and More. Thursday, we are in February. Yay, because January has seemed really long this year. I guess it's tomorrow night that the super blue blood moon hits. Crazy. All right, so February 1st is the Thursday, which is my Princess Stitch Along Day. The theme for February is sci-fi princesses, and I am including sci-fi fantasy since those are generally lumped together in literary circles. And my first one is going to be Mab from Heaven and Earth Designs, Queen Mab from Shakespeare. And I am doing this one just like I've been doing the others, on 32 count white Jobelin, and it's going to be 1/1 full cross. And my minder, oops, is my little Queen of Hearts needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Friday is Halloween all year round. The theme for February is ghosts. So I'm going to have an electronic pattern, but it's the Black Hat Society from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And I'm going to do this on this gorgeous 28 count even weave in Velvet Sky by Fiberlicious for Stitchy Box. It was a Stitchy Box exclusive color. It's stunning. I think this came in the Halloween box. No, maybe not Halloween box. I can't remember which box I got it in. Gorgeous. And then my minder, I'm using a Halloween Frosted Pumpkin needle minder. Then Saturday is 50 Nifty United States, and for February the theme is your state flag. So I decided to be a little bit liberal with how that was going to work, and the Texas flag is pretty simple. It is red, white, blue with a big star on it for the Lone Star State. Hold on, something is caught over here that I need to fix. So my plan is to honor the Texas flag. I will be doing if it's not a Texas flag directly, it will either be red, white, blue, or have stars. So for this on the 3rd, I'm going to do All Things Bright and Beautiful by Lizzie Kate, and I'm going to make this flag into the Texas flag. Just make the blue go down and do one stripe red, one stripe white. And I am doing this one on 32 Lugana in Mercedes from Picture This Plus, and my minder is the Astros Girl needle minder from Nifty Needle from No Name Needle Minders. World Series, baby. And then Sunday, the theme for Christmas all year round for February is Christmas trees. So I am going to do the Christmas Cheer Santa by Jim Shore from Mill Hill because he's holding a Christmas tree. And my minder is Peace, Love, and Santa from No Name Needle Minders. So those are all my planned starts. I'm kind of excited to be getting into new themes. All right, there are no one-day stitch-alongs or other mini sales in February. February, though, will have some, or Not that there aren't in February, not in this next week. There will be quite a few in February, though, because we will be having the Winter Olympics Stitch Along Challenge. We did the summer a couple of years ago. I'm excited to do the winter one, so there will be a whole bunch of stuff when that comes up. But this week, there's no other extra ones. Whips. I'm at 10 holdovers, which seems like a lot, but it's okay. I will get to them when I get to them. So I'm only going to show you the ones that are new for this week. I'm not going to show the holdovers. You've seen them in the last video or two. We'll see them when they are done. All right. First off, we have Cross Stitch Lover, which is from Just Cross Stitch February 2016. And I am doing this one on 32 Belfast and Dreamsicle from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using Dinky Dyes silks for it. Here's where I am at this point. And my minder says, cross stitch when you want to stab something 1,000 times. Got from Nifty Needle Nannies. Figure I'll be watching the State of the Union tonight. I can definitely get some stitching done. Next, we have from Lizzie Kate, Do Small Things with Great Love. And I am doing this one on 28 Landswool Linen by Witchholt. Here's where I got to, or I am at this point. And my minder's a little love needle minder from Brenda's Minders and More. Next is one I know that is a crowd favorite. It doesn't come up very often, but that's okay. Flames of Desire by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is the one that is being done on 32 Belfast in Mayan Apocalypse from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm doing it 1/1 half stitch, or 10th stitch. And I started in the middle. So here's where I am on this beauty at this point. It's almost a page finish at this point. And my minder is a little red queen needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. She will show up so awesome on this fabric. I really don't have much left to do on that page. Krennic. Then, let's see, the next one comes from the Just Cross Stitch 2014 ornament issue. And it is the Stained Glass Mistletoe by Ink Circles, this one right here. And I am doing this one on a piece of scrap fabric, actually, a green scrap fabric. It's working on the black outlines first before I fill them in. My minder is a little Nutcracker needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Give me 1 second, I'm going to get these better in my reach over here. Even though that's probably going to make them all fall, but that's okay, we'll deal. Alright, that's why it's off screen. Okay, let me scroll down here a bit. Next is the Think Happy, Be Happy row by Bent Creek. And I am doing this one on 32 Lugana Imputer from Picture This Plus, and I'm using flosses from Moe's Sale. Here's where I am on it at this point. My minder is a Joy needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. I think it was last week in the video that David was asking where Joy was. Found her. And yes, he knows. I showed it to him. So that's the 30th. On February 1st is one of my 2 busiest days as far as whips go. Yeah, sorry. The Cross Stitch Lover and Do Small Things with Great Love were technically yesterday's. Flames of Desire and Stained Glass Mistletoe are today's. Tomorrow is Think Happy, Be Happy row. Thursday is the 1st, so we're going to pull up the Sarah Davis Clonmel 1824 reproduction sampler from Stitchy Box to work on for the month. And this is being done on 32 Murano in Lightning Storm from Jottery Designs, and I'm using the Called For silks. Okay, there's the down there. And my minder is a Crown Needle Minder from No Name Needle Minders. So we'll work on that for a little bit. And the ones who are actually, quote unquote, born on this day. Let's see, where'd that one go? Here it is. This is Shamina from Just Cross Stitch, March, April 2016. I believe it's Elizabeth Allman design. And I am doing this one on 28 count antique white Jobelin. Here's a little bit in the middle there. My minder is a little bell Mickey Mouse ears needle minder from Delicious Threads. Got a couple of black work patterns this week. What can I say? I like black work. Then the next one is an electronic pattern. Come on. It is Small World by Pedal Pusher. And I am doing this on 32 count Lugana in the natural white petite point from Witchelt that I got from Stitchy Box. And my minder is Don't Even Go There from Nifty Needle Nannies. I'll put a link to it below. Like I said, I have black work. This one is Tamara from Cross Stitch and Needlework Spring 2015, another Liz Almond design. And I'm doing this one in 32 Lugana in Bashful from Picture This Plus. It is a very pretty pale pink, but see, back here you can see that it's the nice pink color. Up close, they'll probably get washed out, yeah. That's where I am at this point. And my minder's a blingy jewel needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. I really do like black work. Then on the second, I think it's Jessie Marie's favorite piece of mine. Can you guess which one it is? Affectionately called It's Really a Heart, or Not a Heart, depending on who you're talking to. It is Around the World in 80 Stitches by Papillon Creations. And I am doing this in 32 Belfast in Lily Pad from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using flosses from Jottery Designs. You can see why I say it's a heart and she says it's not. It really is. My minder is a little hot air balloon needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. And that's an electronic pattern. I'm not sure if it's still available. If it is, I will put a link to it below. Then on the third, I just have one. See, I'm getting into not having 5 or 6 because I haven't had 5 or 6 months of New Year, New Starts. All right, Butterfly Elf by Soda Stitch. Haven't worked on this one since I started it. It is being done on 32 Belfast in Nymph from Under the Sea Fabrics. Similar look to the Lily Pad one that we just saw. This is all I got at this point. A little bit started on the girls in the middle. My minder's a little butterfly needle minder from Nifty Needle, or from No Name Needle Minders. Sorry. And then the fourth, I have 4. Let's get this out of the way. Let's see. Sorry. All right. The first one is the Cookies Sampler from World of Cross Stitching issue number 223. And I am doing this on 32 Joblin in Autumn from Under the Sea Fabrics. Here's where we are at this point. And my minder is a little recipe card needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Next is an electronic pattern. This was very popular last year. It's the Quotes to Live By Stitch Along from Stitcherovia. I haven't really gotten to work on this one, but that's okay. And I am doing this one on 32 Lugana in Mercedes from Picture This Plus. I started in the middle, so that's the middle quote right there. And then my minder says, "Stay strong, make them wonder how you're still standing." And that is from No Name Needle Minders. This next one is another crowd favorite because of how big it is. It is from Dimensions Gold Collection, the Skater's Village Tree Skirt. Yes, I do this in the hoop. Yes, it's a lot of fabric, but I still make it work. And I Yeah, I can say I'm doing this one. It came on fabric, or came with fabric. It's a kit. So here is where I am on it now. You know, some of those back stitches are all 6 strands of floss. And my minder is this little emerald and diamond needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. That one's a beast. But one day will look beautiful with my stockings at Christmas time. We got a huge new tree this year. And my mom bought me a new tree skirt because my old one didn't fit. But one day it'll be replaced with this. Then from the Vanessa Ann collection, Holidays in Cross Stitch, this is the last of my whips. It is called Stitcher's Delight. It's this little alphabet quilt sampler. And I am doing that one on 32 Lugana in Sorbet from Picture This Plus. And I am using flosses from Mo's Sale. And here's where I am on it at this point. And my minder says there's no such thing as too much stash. It was a gift from Kate, the Queen of Starts. Because we both live by that philosophy. And I'll keep working on my gifts and the other finishes I've got, or pieces I got pulled out for finishes. That's a lot. But I'm loving it. I will say, because I now recognize what condition I have, I am not nearly as frustrated. Well, I'm still frustrated on bad flare days, but I'm not nearly as frustrated as I was not knowing what was going on. And I'm able to better take care of myself now. And I am finding that getting back to all of this stitching and switching things up and doing the new starts and having multiple pieces a day really has gotten my mojo back. I am feeling happier mentally as well, emotionally. So, yay. All right. Stash quisitions. Start with the easy stuff. A lot of it is thread this month. But I'll start with the patterns. Only one of these was purchased beginning in January. Because remember, this is like 3 or almost the whole month's worth. First, we have the Main Street Bakery from the Country Cottage Needleworks series that I had already purchased the whole series. Then this one is the one I purchased this month. It's Ink Circles Avondale. And I bought that because I needed something to justify shipping for something else. And I thought it was pretty. And I like Ink Circles designs. And then this one, it's the Royal Games 2 from Mirabilia that matched to Royal Games 1. And I got the bead pack for it. So, yay! Next, threads. I have my last couple of months of Silks for You. That's another one that I put on hold for now. So these are October. And which ones are these? December. So November is in there somewhere. I may have already put November away. Oh well. But here they are. This is number 1 for October. You guys have probably already seen most of these from other people. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. Pretty purples. And then the ones for December, let's get them out here. We have this pretty green is number 1. Number 2 is this pretty purple. 3 is this gorgeous red. 4 is this dark brown, and 5 is this lighter brown. Yay! Pretty silks. Then I have my Just for Threads subscription for this past month. And in it we have from Cottage Garden Threads. This one is Warata. It's a pretty red and gray and black one. Then from Classic Coffee Works, we got black coffee. It's really more black than it's showing up on the screen. Then this one is House of Embroidery Cotton in Water Lily. We have a Planet Earth Fiber Silk Ribbon in Aspen. And a Krennic Silk Mori in 0433. And then I also have 2 months worth of my House of Embroidery Silk subscription that I get from Stitchy Box. All right, now I will say I think one of these, I'm not sure. One of these doesn't seem right. All right, this is True Blue that I got for January or December. I can't remember. I think it's December. But then this one came and it also says True Blue. It's definitely not blue. So I don't think this one's named right, but that's what it came up from them. So we'll see. And then this one is gold. And this is the fine silk rather than the raw silk. This is Bulrush. This one is Wildlife. I like how it's already on the bobbins. This is Berries. This is Baskets. And this is the silk for the Water Lily. And here's the Water Lily cotton. So, yay! And the last two things are Stitchy Box related. The first is the regular Stitchy Box from November, December, which I didn't get mine until later, which is fine. And you've probably already seen most of this, but I know I get some of the additions that other people don't get. So we'll go through them real quick. The theme for November, December was the Northern Lights. So for the embellishments, we got 1 foot of the vintage cotton ribbon and the Percosa crystal banding for 1 foot of that as well, so you can see. Oh, and some pretty little snowflake. These are Swarovski, I believe. Let me see, what does it say? It is, yes, Percosa crystal snowflakes. The fabulous threads that came with the regular Stitchy Box include, from Dinky Dyes, this is called Amateur Blue, and it's a Stitchy Box exclusive, and it's gorgeous. We have 2 limited editions from Gentle Arts. One is Winter Moon, and one is Snowtop Pines. Bottom is Winter Moon, top is Pines. Then we have Needlepoint Ink Silks. This is the Moonlight Pastel range. And then another Planet Earth fiber in Heather this time. All very lovely. The buttons. Let's thread it up. Let's get the rest of the stuff that everyone got first. You know, that Fiberlicious fabric may have actually come from the Stitchy Box, because the fabric isn't showing up. Is it? Let me see. Da, 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 da. Well, I think I've already moved the fabric out of here, so sorry. Because it's not in this box, and I'm not going to go do a massive search for it. All right. I don't have my fancy little box. Oh, here, hold on. We're going to make do so you guys can see the buttons. Because they're pretty, but they're free. Meaning roaming around freely, not that they were free. And they aren't in cute little baggies to show you all. So, ooh, let's take that one out. You would think I would have already figured this out before I showed the video to you guys, but oh well. So here are the buttons from Button It Up, plus this one that I took out because it was too big. But pretty buttons. Then for the Threaded Up, the extra goodies that came in for the thread add-on, we have Planet Earth Fiber in Autumn Glory. We have the Krennic Silk Mori in 0433. We have the House of Embroidery Cotton. This one is in Privé. And then Classic Colorworks in 12 grain. And then my favorite of all of the add-ons, you all know, is the Bling It Up. Because it's all the bling, see? Yay! Alright, this is size 11 Delicaseed beads in nickel frosted dark purple. Very pretty. This is size 11 check seed beads in opaque mouse. Nice gray. This is 12 millimeter twisted bugle beads in transparent gunmetal rainbow. Look at that. That's really cool. These are size 11 Matsuno seed beads in frosted white rainbow. This is size 11 Delicaseed beads in copper-lined translucent cobalt, which it's hard to see, but it's a really pretty blue. Think of the blue from my, what I'm doing with Death by Cross Stitch. This is size 11 Toho seed beads in silver-lined peridot. This is a hand-carved amethyst drop and a 10 millimeter Swarovski bicone in crystal. This is size 11 Delicaseed beads in opaque galvanized light teal. I love how they add all these different descriptors. Opaque, translucent, galvanized, silver lined. And then size 11 check seed beads in silver lined transparent light gray rainbow. So yay! Love the box as always. I do have one more thing to show you guys, but I am going to do a, I guess a warning, not a warning. Spoiler alert, I guess I should call it. I did get the wedding countdown box from Stitchy Box, and I have it here, and I have them all opened. And so I'm going to show off everything that came in the box. If you don't want to see it, if you are opening it day by day, if you are expecting it, whatever it may be, if you don't want to see it yet, stop the video now. I'll see you guys next time. But if you want to see the rest of the way through, I will say for those, if you are stopping now, the giveaway. I am going to close the giveaway after I finish this video. I'm going to go through all of the answers, or all of the responses and all of the choices, and I'm going to do random number draw on a spreadsheet, and then I'm going to put together a video that's all text, like the screen. I am almost done. I have one more thing to show. You okay?
Don't watch me.
I will. Okay?
I'll be here.
You want to sit here with me?
No.
Okay, it's this box that I have to show off. Close the door.
It's a box?
It's stuff in the box.
Wow, how so special. It's a box.
It's a box. I know, I'm showing off a box.
It's a box.
So, I will be putting all of a screen or a text video together, and I will upload it. It probably won't get uploaded until tomorrow. But if you win one, then just contact me and I will get those minders out to you. Okay, so if you are still here, stop sticking your tongue out. What are you doing? Looking at your lost tooth?
Yeah.
Are you done showing off your tongue, please? Stop. All right, so if you're still here, besides watching the stash prints be silly, you know that you're going to be watching, or you're going to be seeing everything that comes in the wedding countdown box from Stitchy Box. So don't get mad that things are getting spoiled. Okay? Let's get the little, where's the little thingy? There's in here, I guess.
Mommy thing.
Okay, I cannot show you day one. because it is a chart. And just the chart. It is a bridegroom heart sneak peek. It says, for day one of our rustic wedding anniversary small batch box, I thought it'd be fun to give you something borrowed. A sneak peek at one of the designs in our forthcoming new edition of Needle Prints Charts Collection, Bridegroom Hearts. These designs come from the Swedish tradition of embroidering hearts on, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, but bridegroom's shirts. You can use the items from future days to stitch up your heart or goodies out of your stash and the alphabet to customize it. In the future days... Stash. In future days, you'll also find something old, new, and blue in the packages. But since it is just the chart, I will not show just the chart.
Yay.
Right? Because that's not good to do, right? Day 2. We have... Gas limited edition, or something new, a brand new limited edition from Gentle Arts. I'll have to get with Liz to find out the name, but it's a pretty, right?
It's ugly.
Oh, no it is not. Do not say that. It's not opposite day, dude.
It's ugly, actually.
No, it is not. If you're going to say that, you don't have to stay in here.
It's actually really ugly.
Stop. All right, day 3. Tiny pearls. Tiny pink pearls. Don't play with that. It says, pearls are a wedding decoration staple, so it wouldn't be a wedding-themed box without them. These tiny little guys can be stitched directly onto your project or used in finishing. You going out?
Let me just type something. I'll put you down.
Okay. Day 4. Get it out here. It is this pretty cording, and I keep dropping the little note thingies that go with it. It is day 4, rose gold metallic twine. It says, rose gold is a popular color that can be combined with just about anything, so I thought it would be a good fit for this box. Use this twine to finish up your wedding-themed smalls. Okay. Day 5. No, I can't, David.
How?
I'm almost done. We have size 11 Toho seed beads. These rosaline seed beads will make an excellent accent to several of the threads in this shipment. I'm on day 5 of 30, so I have 25 more days to go. Why don't you go play your game for a bit, and I'll be out. It'll take me about 10 minutes.